In this video tutorial, we are going to build this event seating map that you see on your screen. It loads a predefined sample map. Users can drag seating templates from the list to the left. They can double-click on a node to edit the text or create new text nodes with mouse drag. The application supports save and load of the layout. We shall walk you through the process of creating this app step by step. So, let's get started now. We use Visual Studio to create an empty Blazor WebAssembly standalone app. By default, the option to generate sample pages is selected. Make sure it is not for our project. We do not need sample pages. Then, with right-click on the dependencies tree, we select Manage NuGet Packages, and then we search for MindFusion.Blazor. We install the diagram library. Let's add not the namespaces we will need. We will add some HTML code, a div element that will contain our diagram and a few other controls, including the NodeListView. We declare the variables for the diagram, the diagram view, and the NodeListView. Note that a diagram needs a view in order to render. We initialize the diagram view on the page, and we also need to create it in code. Now, this should be enough to have a running basic diagram application. Let's test the sample. And here it is. We are already able to create nodes and connect them. Let's add now a method that creates templated shape nodes and assigns to each one as a tag the string provided as a parameter. Then we add a new method, which creates various shape nodes using the helper method and adds them to the NodeListView. The tag property is the important part here, because we will parse it and create table layouts based on the tag. This is how we will recognize the selected table layout. We will copy a new directory called Fonts in the project directory. There, we will have the definitions of two fonts. We want our application to use a nice font, so we make sure we have it as an embedded resource. Now, time to call the initialization methods. We override on after render async, and there we load the fonts, configure the diagram, and initialize the NodeListView. Let's comment the code that loads the initial diagram. We do not need it for now. Let's add some more HTML div elements and CSS styling, so we can initialize the NodeListView as an element. Now that we have it, we can run the application and see the result so far. Here are our seating styles. Most of them reuse a given shape. You can opt for more variety by using different predefined shapes. Check the online documentation for the available options. Also note that you can create custom shapes. Time to handle the onNodeCreated event. When a new node is created, we check if it has a tag property. If it does, we create one of the helper methods to create a table and chair according to the selected layout. If the node has no tag, it means it is created through drag and drop, so we make it transparent. It will be a text node. For creating the table layouts, we add a common method for creating a chair node. Then we create a table node and a given number of chairs based on the layout. Whenever possible, we group the nodes and use the attach to corner method of the group object to guarantee chair nodes shall keep their position when the table node gets moved around the diagram area. And here is our sample with the table layouts in place. Whenever the user drops a node, the corresponding table layout is created. Here is how grouping works. We drag the table of the banquet table layout, and the chair nodes maintain position. Let's add the HTML for CSS styling and the zoom controls. We need the event handlers as well. We wire the zoom factor property of the diagram view to the value of the control. As you see, the controls work but appear quite negligible. Let's correct that with some styling. We will use the Bootstrap Icons pack, which we copy in the folder of our project. With its help, we can make the zoom icons more attractive. We can enhance the application by adding a div element that will render the current zoom factor, so the user knows what it is. And here it is. Time to add the last section of UI controls. Save, load, and clear the diagram. We will add the buttons with some nice CSS formatting. We will need to write the event handlers for them. The simplest event handler is for creating the diagram. It just calls diagram clear all, which is one of the methods of the API. Then we have the save diagram method. We get the JSON representation of the diagram as a string and download it into a file. The load method reads the diagram from the loaded file using the diagram's load from JSON method. Note that the method requires a raw string, not a parsed JSON string. An important note regarding the download file method. We need to prepare a JavaScript method with the same name that will create dynamically a link and simulate a click on it, so the newly created JSON file actually downloads. And with that, all the features of this event seating application are implemented. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your interest in MindFusion developer tools.